Here's my video for Joey Only of Vancouver and British Columbia. 9 cans of ravioli.
It's cold, whether it's hot, wherever there's weather, this is the weather we got. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 4 of the COMEDEOROLOGICAL Report with myself, Dr. Joey Only, and Frankie MacDonald, and Dylan Atack. And we got a special guest all the way from Texas today, Trey Campbell.
How's it going?
Producer at ESPN Radio down there. How's it going, Trey, for you? You've had a bit of a hard week. And this is a comedy show, so, you know, I heard someone say that if I've been a little bit down myself, if you're feeling sad, watch Frankie.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, you know, the weather reports are the bread and butter, obviously, but not a lot of people talk about how many great characters Frankie has. You got Orange Man, you got Guy Who Eats Random Stuff, you got and him. So Frankie's not just a one-trick pony when it comes to weather. He's got a lot of good bits. So,
speaking of which, Frankie, what's the weather in Nova Scotia like today?
Weather in Nova Scotia today, it's windy, but it's cold outside. It's minus 2 degrees Celsius in my area.
You going to be getting any of that Arctic air mass this next week? It's just near you.
It's going all the way down to Florida rather than Nova Scotia. It's going to hit northern Florida.
Is it going to hit Trey? I'm a little close to the X-Wing.
It's going to hit Trey. It's going to hit Florida. It's going to hit Orlando.
And what about Quebec and Ontario? What have you been seeing for weather there this week, Frankie?
They're getting a lot of snow on Tuesday in Quebec City, Montreal, Bonaventure, Percé, Rimouski, Gaspé region, Quebec, where Monica Bouillet lives. Monica Bouillet lives in Bonaventure, Quebec.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
She's a really, 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 really best friend of mine.
Yeah, right on, buddy. And what about down in Hamilton, Ontario, Dylan? How's the weather there today?
You know, weather has been pretty windy, actually. It's been chilly. Yesterday was not too bad. A lot of people tobogganing yesterday near my house. So yeah, it's been pretty chilly, but not too bad.
I seen how nice it was. Actually, we have a COMEDEOROLOGICAL report from your province today. I don't know if you guys have seen this one yet, but my good old friend Washboard Hank in Peterborough, Ontario. Hank, how's the weather in Peterborough, Ontario?
well, it's a cold, cold day here in Peterborough, Ontario. The drywall train has been stopped at the Patalk siding because the nuts have frozen off the railway bridge and it's unsafe for it to come across the Otonabee River. Well, I was out walking with my dog today and I almost had to skin him alive in order to maintain my body temperature. It's a cold day here in Peterborough, Ontario.
Thanks, Hank. That's a great weather report. And yeah, sounds like it's pretty cool when the bolts are freezing right under the train bridge. Definitely want to bundle up there. So, Frankie, what do you think about Manitoba? How's the weather been out that way?
Right now in Manitoba, it's really, really cold there right now.
Yeah. And over Saskatchewan, much the same?
Yes, the same with Edmonton.
Any sign of snow that way this week?
The snow headed for because of Alberta Clipper, because Vancouver, British Columbia is bringing so much rain. Because Pineapple Express come all the way from Hawaii. It looks like the moisture from Hawaii. Bringing a lot of serious storm systems in Vancouver.
It is. It's just, it's like the escalator of precipitation right now this way. And
that's going to trigger a lot of forest fires in California.
They're missing out down there. It's just getting by them. We do have from Saskatchewan another COMEDEOROLOGICAL report from our stand-up meteorologist out there, formerly of the band The Hypocrites, my good friend Mr. Awesome, Roy Robbins. Roy, how's the weather in Saskatchewan?
Hey, Roy Robbins here. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So cold this week, all my outies turned into innies. But now that it's -9, they're back to outies again.
We have Paul Gott who's going to come on, and he's most people know him as the lead singer of the Ripcordz, one of Canada's best all-time punk rock bands. But he also was a weatherman at GlobalTV in Montreal, and of course works at CBC Montreal still. So it's going to be really awesome having him on. And we have him this week for a meteorological report. Everyone meet Paul Gott.
Greetings from downtown Montreal. This is Paul Gott with your weather report for southern Quebec. I don't know why we're considered southern. We're not that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Southern Quebec, where we have been in a lockdown for 2 weeks, where we've had a curfew for 2 weeks, so we just don't go outside. So inside, it's beautiful 21 degrees. We're having a good time. There's been no precipitation except for when the pipes burst the other day, but let's not get into that. However, we do look out these kind of windowy type things. I think they're called windows. Every once in a while, we do see that there has been some snow. Doesn't seem like we've had too much of a bad winter so far, but what I have decided to do is actually put my boots on. There they are. And go outside just so I can give you this weather forecast today. Here we go. Out into the elements where it looks like a beautiful sunny day. And we discover that it is friggin' cold. Oh my God. Okay, I'm understanding why perhaps lockdowns aren't so bad after all. Okay, well, that was fun. That was my first time out in 10 days, and I think that'll be my last time out for the next little while. And you want to know why? Close this thing. Whew, keep that cold out. It's because there's this big, what we call a southeaster coming up from the States. They always blame us for their bad weather. Well, we're getting bad weather from the States. There's like snow coming. It's supposed to be like minus 20 for most of the week. And we kind of like hate all this stuff. So I'm staying indoors. And I'm wishing you a good day from Montreal. And, stay warm. Stay inside.
And since I was a wee kid, since I was probably 14, I just thought that is the coolest human ever. Really cool to have you on my show, old friend. So, hey, that's the end of the meteorological reports. Let's get on with our guests for tonight. And how's the weather in Houston, Texas today, Trey?
It was actually really perfect. It was 57 degrees Fahrenheit. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was sunny, and it was a picturesque day, I guess. It's been kind of, dreary and rainy down here in Houston the past week, but today was perfect. No clouds, nothing, just all sun, all blue skies. So, but humid. Oh, go ahead.
I seen you had quite a lot of thunderstorms come through earlier last week that I was sort of jealous of.
Really? Yeah. We got a lot of rain. It's really strange. Usually when the year starts here in Houston, there's a lot of rain, and it rains like the beginning of the month, and then after that, when it gets to the summer, it just gets ridiculous. It'll get like to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it'll just be ridiculously hot. So, but yeah,
it's very humid there too, though.
Yeah. The humidity. Oh yeah, sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, that's what I found when I was down there.
Yeah, a lot of humidity. The humidity down here today was at 49%, and that's on a good day. So it's that's why my hair looks the way it does, is the humidity. So, yeah.
Okay, so you were saying, Trey, we'll just ignore what happens.
Yeah, the humidity down here is just a killer. It's very hard to breathe for some people, but yeah, in the summer, it's unbearable, but around now, it's usually pretty mild. I say the lowest it's only snowed down here in Houston 3 times. That was like big snow. That was like 1972, 1989, and 2004. Those are the only times I can remember like big snow. There's been sleet and stuff and little pockets, but never like that. So, but it's usually very mild around this time.
We've only had 3 big snows here ever today.
Yeah.
I live at 4,000 feet up in the mountains, right? So it's
There it is.
Told you it was coming.
Yeah.
So we get the mountain weather. In fact, almost nobody in all of Canada is as stupid to live as far north and as high up in elevation as I do. But that's why I get to see grizzly bears and moose and things like that here all the time. It's pretty sweet. So of course, ESPN's a sports station, of course, but you have a relation with the weather, of course. And of course, in a place like Houston, where there's been some humongous weather stories the last couple of years. Have you been part of that at all? And
oh yeah, there's Cowboy Frankie, but funny thing is, where I actually discovered Frankie, and I don't have a cowboy hat around me. I just have my Bill Clinton hat. But but the funny thing is, I discovered Frankie because of one of those major weather catastrophes. As everybody knows, Hurricane Harvey hit, I believe, in 2017, and I heard one of Frankie's reports that he gave about Hurricane Harvey on our station. We played it on one of the shows, and they really enjoyed his reports. So I was like, man, this dude's hilarious, and I would watch a lot of his videos, and I followed him on Twitter. And one day, out of the blue, he said something about a podcast. I was like, man, jump on one time. I'd love to talk to you. And he got right back to me like that. And I was surprised. But that's how I discovered him, is because of Hurricane Harvey. And he gave a weather report about Hurricane Harvey.
I remember when I did a severe thunderstorms hit Houston, Texas way back in January 2013. That's another thing.
Yeah. Houston is... been one that Texas just in general has been a lot. He's talked to a lot about Texas weather, and he's talked to a lot of people here in Texas. So it's a big fan base down here, but that's how I discovered him. And Hurricane Harvey, for us, luckily, my dad had the smarts to move the house up a little bit above sea level and put some dirt down, so there was no flooding. So
of course, is it okay to mention you're mourning your dad this week?
Yeah, that's a good thing to mention. Yeah, my dad passed away last week on January 27th, and it's been tough, but he's really built this house well, and he's, like I said, he set everything up for all of us, and I miss him, but I think he's somewhere where he has peace, and I'm glad he's not really suffering anymore. So I give he's a lot of the reason I am who I am today, but he was a great man and he lived a great life. So
you had the viewing today?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily much of viewing as it was like a celebration of life sort of thing. But we had a couple of people come by. And we had a bunch of food, a bunch of takeout. So it was a good day, and all my family and friends, I'm really happy that everybody showed up. So it was a great day for us.
Speaking of food,
hey Joey,
catering showed up. Catering's coming. Just give me a minute here.
Do y'all get Uber Eats up there?
I think I want a cheesecake this week, please. Ah, thank you. This is my cheesecake.
Yummy.
Yeah, cheesecake's the best, man.
Thank you. So, this is me taking part in your celebration.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
from 7,000 kilometers away.
Yeah, I was wondering, you said catering. I was wondering if they got like Uber Eats or Postmates up there in the mountains, if they come up there.
Nothing like that.
Deliver to you guys.
Here, man. I cook for myself a lot.
That's probably good, though. You have a lot of good life skills up there, I'd imagine.
Well, quite often, the things we cook are things that we come across ourselves here.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it, Good way to live. But I'm sure it gets cold. So, but yeah,
But if you get cold around here, you just got to be up higher be up where the heat is.
Yeah, you go all the way. Your house is very Pacific Northwest. I've noticed.
I can ride the moose if I want to die.
Yeah, that might come tumbling down. I'd be careful with that. But
there's a lot of heat up here because of the stove.
Yeah,
it makes all the spaceships spin.
But
so when the spaceship stops spinning, I know it's time to put wood in the fire.
Yeah, because of the wind and everything, I'm guessing.
So how do you like that?
Yeah,
so, I'd love to hear just some of your experiences and stories of working on ESPN.
Well, how it started back in 2016, I interned and I did that for a while. And then they started bringing me on shows, which was a surprise. And, after that, like I started beginning to operate the board that plays all the programming. And, it just kind of went from there. But there's been all kinds of cool people to come through. I think the commissioner of the UFC was there, all kinds of sports dignitaries. So, but I've made a lot of great friends up there, and it's been a great time. I hope to keep working there as long as they'll have me. So that's cool.
I'll know not to stand in this exact spot next week.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a green screen. It's kind of hard to believe that's your house, but this would be what a lot of people's backgrounds are. It looks really cool.
That's why I thought I should climb to the top tonight for you.
Yeah, to prove that it's a real.
I have harness bolts and everything up there, so I could, put on an actual harness and climb up there and clip in. Because when I'm painting up there or I'm hanging Star Wars ships from the very top, I end up needing two hands. So just having ways I can sit up there and.
Yeah. What kind of music do y'all play exactly?
Well, I mean, I've been an outlaw country singer in this across Canada for 15 plus years, right? And I'm not too active at it anymore, and now being dad up here, right? But definitely the kind of stuff, and play with some of the people you might have heard through your neighborhood. So.
Yeah, like old 97s and stuff like that?
I didn't play with them, but have you Bob Way and the Outlaw Carnies?
Yeah, I know. I think so.
Yeah, we went on like a 16 show tour through Canada together. And
But
cool. I never crossed the border. They don't like me down there. And
yeah.
They say, you got an activist criminal history. You just stay on that side of the line.
That's what they say?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many beauties down there we miss out on, right? So that's,
I'd kind of try and give America. I wouldn't want to come down to America right now either.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Just to be your neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're coping with it. It's not.
I've gotten used to it. I've become really desensitized by it, but it kind of sucks down here. If it's not one thing, it's another, and it's always a catastrophe. But really and truly, there's still a lot of great things here. You have a lot of great like places to go, like California and all that. There's a lot of beautiful parks. But overall, just the temperature of the country socially is extremely, extremely difficult, and it's the tension is rising big time. So I could understand why you'd want to stay up there in Canada.
Well, especially, even here, like I'm 80 kilometers from Quesnel. It's a city of 20,000 people, and that's and from here to there is forest. And even that's too close to humanity for me.
Yeah.
And people say, "How do you like living near Quesnel?" And I usually say, "Well, it's a nice place to get groceries."
Yeah.
But a good thing I think about the COMEDEOROLOGICAL report is we're all pretty fun guys in our own bizarre ways, and I think this is a good place just to be for this. This show is bringing me healing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's all that matters, Like if it's something that you really enjoy doing and you love doing it, that's the best thing. There's nothing else better than that. And you got two great guests here, one that knows Oprah and Dylan, and the viral superstar and Frankie. So
speaking of those two, you guys must have some questions for your old friend Trey.
Hey Joey. And not too many scientists or Antarctic research stations this southern hemisphere summer due to COVID-19. Not too many scientists are in Antarctica like the research people. Not too many went down there this southern hemisphere summer. That's right now.
You were saying they had 30 cases down there last week.
Not too many people went down there.
They've already got 30 cases in Antarctica?
That's what we were laughing about last week.
Wow.
Like, can you believe that?
Yeah.
And I guess it seems so bizarre. I live in this small town, but no one's flying from all over the world and through many airports to get here ever, right?
No.
So we've
Yeah.
had a couple cases through the mine, that have happened, and they were dealt with instantly, and there was no community transmission. It's just for them, and who knows? As a firefighter, I'm hoping, like the BC firefighters have been asking that we get put in line for vaccines.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping to hear on that real soon. So, but I have past health history, so I don't know about you guys. I can't afford to get it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah. I think I had it late December and I got over it, but overall, it's nothing anybody would want to deal with, especially considering how many people have passed of it. And down here in Texas, just the state alone, there are 2 million active cases. 2 million. That's like the whole city of Houston.
This entire province only has like 3.5 million people, 4 million people in it. And it's like as big as California, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the vaccine down here has been just absolutely atrociously handled. There have been people who have waited in line and been turned away because they run out. They give it to people who fake their identifications. They go under a different name and they end up getting it from somebody else. It's just been a train wreck down here. So
scalpers probably, eh?
Yeah, there's
going on.
Yeah, all those concert scalpers have turned into COVID vaccine scalpers. So it's terrible, but yeah.
You got to call Ticketmaster to get your vaccine.
Yeah, or Live Nation. You got to get get the Live Nation app. So, but yeah, it's terrible.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, Dylan, you got questions for your buddy?
Yeah, Trey, what's the most favorite part about working at ESPN?
Just being there in general, and being like, it's really cool when you get to produce like shows, because during the breaks you can play like music beds, and I play a lot of bands that nobody's really known outside of like people in Facebook. I play a lot of like punk bands and all that, and it's really cool to play like music you don't really hear. And being the only
municipal waste between the friggin'
like the music beds, that's my favorite. So but yeah, yeah, I really cool. Yeah, and I really enjoy cutting audio. I just really enjoy being there and all the people around me. So it's always been something I've been interested in, and to finally get into it, it's just the best. So.
What's the morning talk show like? It's quite an experience, I bet, to sit in. I mean, everyone's heard a morning talk show, but you're one of the few people who's ever sat in the studio and done one. I've been on morning radio, but it wasn't the format. You know?
Yeah. It's the content itself. It gets kind of crazy sometimes. One time before I was working there, the program director or the assistant program director brought in a lawnmower and started the lawnmower in the studio. So during the show, there was like a lawnmower engine in the background. But it's really great. Like a lot of people come in, a lot of celebrities sometimes, a lot of baseball players come in, and it's really interesting. But when you go in there, it's just normal. Like, it's just a couple of guys talking sports. But yeah, morning radio, it's probably the most important slot, considering most people in Houston are driving to work around that time. So yeah, morning radio is really great. It's not quite.
It must have been just that much better to sit in the production seat once the Houston Astros were found out the World Series. That must have been just gold to sit and mix.
Yeah, we did a show. We did post shows after both World Series. They went back in 2019, but when that whole when the scandal happened, that was all we talked about all of January of last year. That was it. And then COVID happened, obviously, and now it still gets talked about, but not as much. But yeah, and they would have like bits where they'd talk to like fake celebrities, the host Lance Zierlein would call in as a fake celebrity, and it was really funny. So, but yeah, that cheating scandal, that was pretty much all our material for the whole month. So
it's sort of like when you live in this small mountain town here, right? And you do something real stupid. I don't drink anymore, but when I drank, it was me that would do something real stupid. And everyone in town's talking about you until someone else does something stupid, which could take a while. But sometimes the timing's great.
Yeah.
Maybe for the Houston Astros, the timing of COVID couldn't have been better.
Yeah, and then they played like a full season with empty stadiums, so there was nobody to boo them. There was nobody to stuff at them. They really lucked out. But this team, like, to defend them a little bit, every team does what they've done. So they just were the ones that got caught. But
well, really.
Yeah.
Not that I'm pro steroids, but some of the argument, like, well, that was it an amazing feat that he hit that many home runs? I'm like, man, you try hitting a major league curveball.
Yeah, it's next to impossible.
No matter how strong you are, just hit it.
The one thing I gotta say about Barry Bonds, there was a guy that did like a video, and he said, "What if we took the bat out of his hand and we just went off like his walks?" And he still had like his on-base percentage and all of his stats were still like 10 times what everybody else's was. So it really steroids helps your strength, but overall you can't really replace the eye for the ball. So that's why I think this is a sport that's been riddled with scandals. When steroids were happening, the commissioner, Bud Selig, kind of turned a blind eye to it, because when you're hitting 70 home runs a season, it's, you get good ratings. So overall, that's all sports are like that. There's always scandals. So I don't know. But like I was saying, to kind of go back to it, that was what we talked about all month. So
that's the beauty of sports. And what I found, as I'm traveling across Canada as a musician, and I played 2,000 shows across this country, and you got to make small talk with people everywhere you go. And it's like, well, sports, and the weather, those are the two things that if you talk about those, then, anybody can sit down and talk with you. If they're not sports people, they'll probably be weather people, and you can kind of breach the divide with just about anybody, it seems like on those. So there's something kind of pure about that, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about my Blue Jays stealing your George Springer?
Yeah, they the Blue Jays they've really kind of went after it in free agency, and they also have one of the more exciting prospects, or one of the exciting young players in the league, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he actually won the home run derby when he was a rookie. So they have a lot to look forward to with George Springer, and I think they have Kevin Biggio coming up as well, and Nolan Burchett. Their pitching is okay. I like Tyler Thornton, but this is a team that's I think 1 year away, but adding a piece like George Springer, who's a World Series MVP, is really nice. So I think
they're at that point now where they have to learn how to win.
Yeah,
that's all they have to do. It feels like, and they're getting closer with that. And now it might take a season 2 or 3. I mean, the Leafs. Of course, I'm a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan. They're a great example of a team that right away everyone just expected magic to come out of Matthews and Marner, and these were just children still. You're putting on skates, and I'm watching them this year, and they're a few years older, and they're starting to look more like beasts.
Yeah, they're becoming
strong and being in position, being in the right place. And in sports, I mean, that's everything, right?
Yeah,
doesn't matter how fast you are, doesn't matter how good you are. Just be in the right spot. You could be Cal Ripken Jr. and never have to dive for a ball.
Yeah, there has to be sort of a synchronicity between everybody, and I'm sure as someone who's kind of an outsider for hockey, I know Toronto is kind of Canada's team a little bit. They're a little bit like the Cowboys, I'd imagine. But I remember Austin Matthews' his first game. Didn't he score like 4 goals
on Ottawa? Right?
He did.
Frankie? Austin Matthews, he scored 4 goals on Ottawa, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
So Frankie's got the Ottawa jersey on, And Dylan, he works for the Bulldogs, who's a Montreal Canadiens affiliate. So within the three of us across Canada here, you got some.
And the bass guy will be on Joey Onley's show.
Yeah, he's also from Montreal. The Canadians are probably the most. They're like the Yankees, I guess, of hockey. They've won the most, right? And they're one of the original 6 teams, I think, right?
Well, the thing with Montreal is they have the best history of any hockey team in Canada, you know, and it's a glorious history. And I love all those old players. When, you know, I'm a bit older than all you guys, so you know, I was still watching Steve Shutt when I was a kid and seeing Lafleur, and I have a lot of nostalgia for that. But the thing is, and this isn't the fault of the Montreal Canadiens, it's not them, it's their fans.
Yeah.
Their fans are the problem.
Yeah, I heard their fans are extremely annoying. Yeah. Like, I've heard a lot, there's a lot of, from people I know in Canada, I've noticed Montreal is kind of the redheaded stepchild of Canada. Anytime anybody talks about Canada, they're like, don't go to Quebec, you know, don't go to Montreal because everybody there are dicks. But like, I don't really know.
Not true, man.
Yeah.
Women are beautiful.
Over in Russia, it's way worse than that in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia, there's probably a lot of dicks in St. Petersburg. There's like a neo-Nazi movement that runs that town.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to
really
Montreal
bad. Yeah.
Montreal's awesome. It's got the best food of anywhere in Canada. The people are hilarious. They're so themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if you love the underdog, you know, like being the anarchist I am, of course I'm a Leafs fan for life, but I can't help but love those stories of Rocket Richard and the riots and just what the Habs meant to people that were under the boot for a long time under the Anglo authorities, right?
Yeah, and the great thing about Montreal too, it's very much, it's kind of like, I'd imagine it's kind of like Texas. They're their own type of thing. They kind of, I know they've tried to get out a couple of times. That's what, just my outsider knowledge of Canada, I know they're like, they stand on their own, you know, they don't really.
The last time was 1994, and I was actually at Lake Houston in Texas when that was going on. I got on a plane to come home, and I didn't know if there was a country that was coming back or not. But, you know, Steinbeck said, Texas is a state of mind. Texas is an obsession. And there's a lot of places that you can look at the people and kind of feel that with them. Like, you know, Newfoundlanders, for example, like, you know, Newfoundlanders are Newfoundlanders. They're not like anyone else.
Yeah.
They're who they are.
Yeah. It would be really cool to like take a road trip across Canada someday. Like I've always really enjoyed the humor. Like I've always enjoyed a lot of the shows up there, like 22 Minutes in an Hour, you know, Kids in the Hall has been really great. And Nathan Fielder, all those, a lot of funny people up there. So,
you know, I got to shout out to Letterkenny and Trailer Park Boys too.
Yeah,
that is fun.
That's pure Canadiana, I guess.
That's what funny looks like.
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys. I grew up watching that show. That's kind of why. That's part of the reason I have sort of the accent I do, because I grew up watching so much Trailer Park Boys.
You got Canadianized.
Yeah, I did. But
scream with his mind, Coach.
Yeah, like I've been once. I went back in 2007. I went to Ontario. I went to Toronto, and you know, my cousin was having a wedding in Buffalo, and we just decided to go up to Toronto, and it was really cool up there. I really loved it. So
that's like the place that is the most like America.
Yeah,
you know, the thing, right? And I'm not knocking Toronto, because I love inner city Toronto, but the Golden Horseshoe, I can't imagine why anybody on earth would want to live in a suburban sprawl like that. But hey, that's what Southern Ontario has become. And I grew up 3 hours northeast of Toronto, and it's still pretty much wilderness across the road from my mom's house there still. But now there's a MacDonald's and there's a Tim Hortons in Madoc, and it's just, and a lot of the old people have died, and now there's Toronto people buying up, and it's not the same. It'll never be the same as it was for 150 years.
Yeah,
I'll miss that, right?
Yeah,
I'm here in Wells, where it hasn't changed much for 150 years.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of commercialization there, and a lot, like you said, a big type of sprawl towards around Toronto, and it's definitely similar down here in Houston. There's a lot of master plan type of areas like the Woodlands and stuff, and there's very much a sprawl, and there's a lot of suburbs, so it's hard, but because there's some beautiful places in the Woodlands. I don't know if you've been to the Woodlands. I'm sure if you were on Lake Houston, you were close, but
probably pretty close. It was very woody in that area. Like I was staying, there was trees everywhere. It was really lovely.
Yeah, it was trees as far as
lizards on the walls.
Yeah, I have that. That's good luck. If you have
behind you.
No, these are just hooks. These are just.
Okay.
I'm in front of a green wall, but yeah. My room is it's not as decorated. This isn't. I just moved into this room, but there's plenty of lizards on the walls, and that's good luck though. If you have a lizard in your house, it's good luck from what I heard. So.
All right.
Yeah.
There's no lizards anywhere near here. We don't have any fleas in wells. We don't have ticks. We don't have poisonous spiders or snakes.
They have them in Darien Cap in Central America, in between Panama and Colombia, South America, Panama, North America, Colombia, South America. They get a lot of deadly bugs and things like that.
Well, I had this Australian band on tour with me, right? And I had them out in the mountains here, and they're just terrified of friggin' bears, right? And like every sound out there is, was that a bear? Is that a bear? I was like, that's probably a squirrel, bud. Is that a bear? No, it wasn't a bear. And, finally I said to them, like, the difference between Australia and Canada, buddy, is like, you get up in the morning and you put your shoe on and you got a spider in there that bites you, and then your balls fall off and you shit blood for 3 days and hemorrhage and die. Whereas, there's grizzly bears in the forest, but they're not hiding in my shoe.
Yeah.
I can hear them coming.
Yeah, and if you go to Australia, you got to get a tetanus shot when you come back, I'd imagine. But
I don't want to go places where you get killed by bugs.
Yeah, it's
I have to suffer with living in a subalpine. It's subarctic climate at this elevation of the mountains, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, your house looks pretty warm, so it seems like you guys can prepare for it, and you got good internet, I'm sure. So. As long as you got that, you got it kind of made up there, I'd imagine.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if COVID had happened 15 years ago, and a lot of small Canadian communities, rural places don't have high-speed internet yet. That's still a problem in a lot of places. But I mean, because this is a small town, there's a contract with a supplier in Quesnel that, Josh knows all about it. I couldn't explain. They beam it from here to there, but it's to one central location in town at the community hall, and we all have our little boxes facing towards it. And so just imagine if this 15 years ago, you have a COVID crisis, and, what would we have done here? It would have been just so boring.
Yeah.
And now we have, and it's, of course, it's a town where people don't always associate much as it is, because people live here because they want to have their space. But, everyone's friendly too. And so, but now you're
just imagine if the COVID crisis happened back in the 70s, what does that mean?
Yeah, everybody would have been making love, not war, and there would have been fucking COVID everywhere.
Yeah, the thing is, there have been other pandemics, not to this scale, but you gotta wonder, like, if there wasn't the technological advances, how would people work from home? All of that, it would have been extremely crazy.
That's just like the Spanish flu in 1918, 1919, and 1920. That was the Spanish flu pandemic back then. They had to cancel Stanley Cup champions back in 1918, 1919 NHL season. They remember the Spanish flu pandemic. They remember another kind of pandemic called H1N1 swine flu in 2009 and 2010. And they remember the SARS outbreak in 2002 and 2003.
See, I think what the thing is, though, like, part of the problem and the solution are the same thing, right? So we have this world of technology now, but that, I think, is partly why these things are so much more easy to are able to happen now. So it's the world travel. It's the fact that we're a smaller and smaller planet now, and we're so much more together now, right? So in some ways, like our globalization has allowed us now to have the internet, so we can sit at home and work from home and talk to each other like this, which is just so super cool. This was like Star Trek stuff in my imagination in 1985, like looking at a screen and talking to my friends.
Yeah,
Couldn't have comprehended that.
Or Back to the Future type stuff, because they did that on Back to the Future 3. Like they would have like a screen where they would talk to the boss. So yeah, it's very different, but we take it. Some people kind of take it for granted now. You know, this is something that people couldn't have even dreamed of like 40 years ago. So,
well, if we can make the screens like this, why can't we make the hoverboard?
Yeah, for sure. Or why can't like have flying cars or where's time travel? We were supposed to have time travel by now, you know.
No.
So
just fly across the continent.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
fly from Australia to Texas and wake up or get there a day earlier than you left or something.
Yeah, yeah. The closest thing we have to time travel is if you jump between two time zones, like in different states. I guess that's the closest thing you can get to it. But yeah, I wish we had it. That'd be cool. I'd like to go back in time a lot. So, but I don't know. I think you can only move forward, not backwards.
Then you got to come to Barkerville Historic Site here in Wells someday and see the historic gold site. You're like the Wild West up here in the mountains, right? And that's where my partner works. It's that, right? It's going back in time by driving 7K down the road. So, do you have any funny weather jokes?
Hang on, let me think of one.
What about you, Frankie? Got any funny weather jokes this week?
Give me a
Severe
second.
thunderstorms, large hail that can break windshields.
Coming right at you or at me?
At you.
Not at me again. Here.
Frankie,
Oh wait, I don't like this hat. Needed the wider brim.
here's one. What does daylight saving time mean in Seattle?
Bring it ahead.
What?
An extra hour of rain.
Lose an hour sleep.
Yeah,
I got
you're losing
you.
out too. I love the Pacific Northwest. Oh wow, Panda.
I'm a very sad.
Here's a special guest, Frankie Bear. Hi, Frankie. How are you doing?
Hi,
I'm doing
Frankie.
great so far. Hi, Joey. Hi, Trey. Hi, Dylan. I'm doing great so far. I'm doing really, really well. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Fred the Bear. I'm the guy from the Gary Dino Show. I'm doing really well so far.
Do you
Where's
have any bamboo?
I'm doing great so far. I'm doing really
I
well.
love the South Park reference. The
Hey, Fred, how you
sad
doing?
panda.
I've been walking a lot. I better get going now. See you soon. Bye for now.
Who lives in the forest and the willow?
Good job, Frankie.
Frankie, who's on your show this week? I know you and Dylan are with Brett Kessel. That you're interviewing him.
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yo, it's like Brett Kessel?
It's huge.
That's like a legend.
Mhm.
That's a Pittsburgh Penguins legend.
Yes, he's a Canadian country star. We have him on the show tomorrow, and that's our last interview until April. So episodes will run up until February 18th, and then there'll be just reruns every week until we do new episodes.
That's cool.
That means
you're
Joey
talking to
Onley
all
will
of
be a guest on Frankie and Dylan Show Season 2.
Yes, season 2. Yes.
You're talking to all the great Canadian country singers. You're talking to Brett Kissel, to Joey Only.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Other guy.
that means Trevor Garner from the Trevor's Happy Hour
Yeah.
will be another guest.
Yeah.
That's
who's
one of your-
on the show this week on Thursday. Is there
Yeah,
a way we can see it on the internet?
Yeah, it's www.cable14.com, and you can go to the live stream section and watch it on live stream for free.
So that's at 6 p.m. your time. So here
Yeah.
in BC, that's 9 p.m. www.channel14,
Cable 14, yeah.
cable14.com.
6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific.
Who's on the show this week?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
on this Thursday?
We got Coach Orlando from the Ticats. From the Ticats, we got actor Frank Collison, coming on, and not sure who else we got. Oh yeah, and Isaac Creighton. He was in the movie The War with Grandpa with Robert De Niro.
Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They y'all got a season coming up here soon with the CFL. It's looking like y'all are going to be playing this year.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, the who was the last champions of the CFL? Wasn't it the Alouettes?
Winnipeg.
Oh, Winnipeg
won.
Blue Bombers. Yeah.
And that means Joey, you will be going for BC Lions.
I'm more of a Saskatchewan Roughriders fan. Remember I was telling you my story about playing in Saskatchewan and making them all cheer when I put the Roughriders hat on. You know, I worked for the BC Lions, and I just something about their gear, their garb. I just, I feel like the poor people in Saskatchewan, they got nothing going on out there. It's just miserably cold all the time. They got no sports teams, no nothing. They got a couple WHL teams, right? Like junior hockey teams, like. But really, it's the dead of the prairies. It's flat. It's miserably cold in the winter, and it's miserably hot and thunderstorming in the summer. And there's people who work their asses off. Everyone in Saskatchewan knows how to fix a car, knows how to build a house. These are salt of the earth people. They deserve a football team that's good and means something to them. It's like they don't have an NHL team. They don't have a baseball team. They got to look at everyone else nearby, but they got the Rough Riders. And
yeah,
that man.
They have,
I love that province.
They have what province is that in Newfoundland?
No, Saskatchewan is a province.
Oh, it's a province. It's okay. Yeah, my bad.
It's right in the prairies there, and it's hopefully if storm season's real hot and I got the ability to go, I'll be out there. I want to go storm chasing in Saskatchewan. It's been a few years.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I think at one point Saskatchewan almost got the St. Louis Blues, but somehow they fumbled it, and they didn't get the team to come up there. But that I just really enjoy Canada. Like I really want to go up to Pacific Northwest around Vancouver and everything because I just love the North and all that, and I love Toronto, but I want to just go on a road trip and experience
all land.
Canada. Yeah.
It's all about
well, Trey, tonight Frankie and I and Joey want to make you an honorary Canadian.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. I appreciate it. I love Canada. I'm glad to be an official Canadian.
Yes.
But it's a great country, a great. Much music, all that, awesome. Just a craft, everything, every Canadian stereotype I can think of, awesome.
When baseball season gets started, you can use this line. You can tell your guys at the morning show to use this line I stole. People at the Miami Marlins, they were socially distancing before it was cool in the state.
Yeah, they're still going to be socially distancing too. Like that Marlins team,
I seen highlights from the Florida Panthers game the other night. And it didn't look different to me. It was like I had this flashback of nostalgia pre-COVID. It's like you couldn't tell the difference. They never had fans in the stands.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me that Florida and Phoenix, they all have hockey teams. I guess it works in Tampa because they're good. But
I think
in Dallas Stars Arena, the fans are socially distanced watching an NHL game in person.
Yeah, I'm hoping at some point Houston gets a hockey team. I don't know when it'll happen, but
they should put the Florida Panthers over there. But I mean, really, when you gotta give away free hot dogs, beer, parking validated, and get have a free back massage and everything to sell a ticket for $9 to a game or something, right? The last time I went to see Toronto Maple Leafs play in Vancouver. Now, mind you, it's an 840-kilometer drive to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So first I spent $500 getting down there and back, and then we spent like $200 each on the tickets. It was like the one trip of the year I got to do.
Would you say
how long is the drive from Houston to Vancouver?
Let me see.
From
I'm
Houston,
sure it's
British
like
Columbia is only 5 hours.
I think the drive from Houston to Vancouver is probably like 2 days, but
it'll be more than that.
I'll give you an exact exact estimated
If
time.
they build a highway all the way from New York City to London, England, they'll be going to Russia all the way to you. How long the drive will be? How many days?
I'd really like to see that. That'd be really cool if they built a freeway that went from New York to England, but it would take years to build it. But
Some
here
underwater thing.
yeah, here's the exact distance. It's 2,466.5 miles from
So
here to
that's like
Vancouver.
3,500 kilometers.
Yeah, so it's 38 hours to get from here to Vancouver. Round
That's
trip.
nothing.
Yeah.
I've
When
driven
you
across
drive from
Canada like
all the
20
way from
times.
Houston, Texas, all the way to London, England.
Let me see.
I've driven
What do you
across Canada like 20 times, right? And it's like if you were in Ireland, you know, you drive an hour, then you get a hotel for the night. Because that's a far drive. But here in Canada, it's like I drive 2 hours just to get groceries.
Yeah, I guess you kind of get used to it. That's why it's kind of similar down here too. Like you can live in Houston and be on the just to get back home. So, but I'm sure driving all the way 2 hours to the local grocery store is a lot more than it is, anywhere else. So
Yeah, you might hit moose or black ice or
and you gotta have
falling on the road or logging trucks. It's perilous, but I wouldn't have it any other way, man.
I'm sure you gotta have a good truck too to drive down the.
I do, and my
mountain.
4-wheel drive busted this week, and the problem is I need my truck to make money. I need money to make my truck.
Yeah,
So, I got a hard week ahead of me to figure some stuff out.
Yeah. So, but
only I can solve that. That's a Joey problem. It's not one.
Yeah.
Somebody help me. It's like, no, that's your truck, dude. You got to fix your truck.
What was it? Your suspension that had issues, or
No,
is there
something in the 4-wheel drive? And I was up in the mountains cutting wood this week, and it's making a grinding noise in there. And I got no 4-wheel drive, and I can't go where I want to go without it.
Yeah, you got to have 4-wheel drive to go down the mountain, but that's still that I kind of envy that, being away from everything, and having your own sort of your own private Idaho up there. So that's pretty cool. So
Anything else you guys want to say this week before we wrap up?
Yeah, I want to say, keep hanging in there, keep staying positive, keep motivating yourselves, keep staying positive each day. We'll get through this, tough times don't last, but tough people do.
right on.
Nice.
Yeah, right on.
How about you, Frankie?
Yeah.
Last
That means the tough times, just like Spanish flu in 1918, 1919. Then another tough times is World War II. It lasted from 1939 till 1945. Same with World War I from 1914 till 1918.
Right. Yeah, those are tough times too.
Yeah, 75 million people died.
Same with Korean conflict war from 1950 till 1953.
Yeah, it's not going away. It might be reduced, but it's not.
That means most of the virus could spread. Is probably just the name is on rainforest in Siberia, Russia.
Hey, Frankie, what's going on with the snowstorm? It's looking pretty bad around the Midwest right now. What can you tell us about that?
It's going really, really bad. It's headed for New York City tomorrow. Headed right for Boston. Right for Maine. And the Brunswick, Bonaventure, Quebec, where Monica Bouillet lives.
Yeah, she might have to stay in. But yeah, that's cool. That's not good. That's not good. That the big.
I did a video for Monica.
I did see that. I saw that this morning. I watched it this morning. It was
Here
a
in
good
BC,
video.
too, we're in this active pattern, so it's going to be sticking around till at least Thursday before we get kind of a break when the Arctic air mass pushes down.
That means they're coming up with the other drugs for COVID. That means they're coming up with the vaccines for COVID. That means that in 100 years later, then it'll be Spanish flu is still around. Spanish flu never went away at all.
Yeah, it's just the regular flu now. But that's good that the Arctic air is kind of passing through. You're saying it'll be kind of back to normal for Thursday?
Yeah, well, we got a pretty sloppy mess here. I think the thing I hate the most is when it's, of course, 0 Celsius here is freezing, right?
Yeah.
32 degrees Fahrenheit. So when it's hovering at 0, and of course we're in a mountainous province, right? So you're driving along and it's raining, and then you drive up and you hit, freezing rain, slush, ice, snow, and before you get up into the snow when you're driving over the mountains, right? So to me, I find that this temperature is when a lot of disasters happen on the highway.
Yeah,
So I'm just hoping
sure.
for the best for everyone tonight down there in southern BC, and it's not so bad here, but it's a messy week ahead.
Yeah.
And, we'll tell you all about it, Ontario Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Anyways, boys, thanks for coming on the show. It was a good one tonight. Thanks, Josh, for helping produce it. And, hey, thanks to Paul Gott, Washboard Hank, and Mr. Awesome Roy Robbins, our stand-up meteorologist. And, hey, next week we got Paul Gott on the show and bass Jack Casey, bass guy. Is that correct, Frankie?
Yeah.
Yes, best of luck to you. I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to the Joey Onley Show.
The best show out in BC.
Yeah, great show for sure. Awesome, good to meet you guys. So.
It's Canada's favorite show to talk about how much the weather sucks.
Joey, before I forget, I was thinking, I know what the snowboards, like the jets.
The what? Sorry.
You know the Canadian snowboards, like the jets.
Right. Yeah,
I know one of the pilots.
431 Air Demonstration Squadron in Moose Jaw.
Yeah. I know one of the pilots. So maybe we can get him on if I ask him.
That would be extremely interesting. And you can tell him that I knew his squadron designation, 431 Air Demonstration Squadron. That's the snowbirds. They fly the 14 Tutors, which good luck to you flying that old aircraft. You're braver than me. But I mean, they're pretty easy machine to operate. It's like a lawnmower. It'll fly forever.
I don't know much about
planes. The lawnmower of jets.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. And hey, thanks so much for coming on, Trey. You're really awesome. So nice to meet you. And
you'll be Trevor Garner of the Trevor's Happy Hour will appear on the Joey Onley Show.
Okay. I'm also on Brian's Why We Work show tonight. So I got to get off here and produce this video and be ready for that. Why We Work. It's produced out of South Korea. So that's the first time I've ever been on.
Brian interviewed me back in the summer.
Yeah, I saw that, Frankie. Brian is living up in South Korea and going to see rock bands now. So that's good to see. So
no COVID there compared to here, right? Because got the message to wear masks and
But like I was saying, I'm sure the next season I come on, it will be either spring or summer, and it'll be like blazing hot. So I'll talk about how it was like 300 degrees outside. So.
And they're coming out with a lot. They're coming out with some more medications for COVID-19. They're coming a lot of medicines for COVID-19. One medicine right after another. They're finding drugs, finding medications. Buckley's, and we'll be making a COVID-19 cold and flu and COVID. And Buckley's. We'll be making treat the COVID medicine and things like that. When you buy drugstores like Buckley's, COVID-19 medicine, same with the other drugs called COVID-19, Robitussin, Benlin, Tylenol, Vicks, Halls, and things like that.
That'll be good. That'll be good. So,
even the no-name brands.
On that note, this was another Comediological Report. Tune in next week. It's going to be good. Love you guys. Stay healthy.
Best luck to you. I'm Frankie MacDonald. You are listening to the Joey Onley Internet Radio Show. Bye for now.
Have a good
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.
Whether it's cold, whether it's hot, wherever there's weather, this is the weather we got. Well, the weather we got today is mighty cold. Come here, Myrtle. Myrtle, come here. Atta girl. Yes, here's Myrtle the dog. She survived. I didn't have to skin her to make a muff for my hands today. And so, fear not. Don't worry. We'll go for a nice walk tomorrow, eh? It's supposed to get colder.